Back everybody, Automotive Inc. here. Today we are doing a fuel filter on the Duramax diesel. This is a stock truck, one filter. It's going to be on the passenger side towards the back on the wheel well. It is a pain in the to get through the bottom, so I'm going to show you how I've always done it on my LML. Pretty much all my Duramaxes, I try and find the easiest route so I can make sure I get a good product. I will link all the stuff you need down below, including some easy tools to make it work. This part is the TP3018. Now I think they used to have a TP3022 or 12. If you're one of those guys and your part number in your book is not 3018 and you have a 16 or earlier D-Max, it's probably going to be this filter. They did away with that original one. They changed something to do with the filter, but the install, everything is still the same. So this will come with gaskets, everything. You can replace your water fuel separator, whatever they call it. Sensor, that's it. You can replace that if you want. No need to, as long as you're careful and you haven't had any issues with it. But I'll show you all that here in just a second. Also, before we get going, if you wouldn't mind looking down there in the corner, smash the subscribe button for me, thumbs up at the end of the video, and the notification bell so you know when I'm posting new content. I did a lot of maintenance on the truck, including a detail video, so feel free to check that out. So when I do this, guys, I remove the 7mm screws that are around the top here, down all the way to the bottom. I'm gonna have to remove these lower ones so I can get the mud flap off. And then there are these body fastener kits. Now, sometimes I've noticed a lot of these trucks are just missing them, so at some point somebody took them off, didn't plug them back in. I will put down in the description a super cheap, if you go to like Checkers or O'Reilly's or something like that, these are pretty expensive, like 2 or 3. I'll put a link in there. You can get 100 of these for like $10 on Amazon. So it's good to keep a kit of those around. To remove those, you can use a flat blade screwdriver, or if you don't have a body puller tool, a lot of those fastener kits will come with this. And basically you're just going to start that under the edge right there, pop this top off, and then once you get that done, you'll reach underneath the big part of it and that will come out with that tool. And then when you're ready, they'll be ready to go back in, and then you just shove the tab back down. So now I got the 7mm done. There's fasteners here, here, and here. I'm going to work on getting this just moved down. All right, so as you can see, guys, I don't take this all the way out. I just get it down and pulled out so I can access the filter here. You have a push-pull connector, so I push it in, squeeze this little trigger, pull it down. Don't pry on it, don't pull directly on the wires. And now we're going to reach up in there and disconnect the actual filter itself. Keeping in mind, don't jack up this wire harness, so try and remove it from here. I'll just use a strap wrench and get this loosened, and then make sure you have some type of container to collect the diesel, and then dispose of that properly. You can do it with your oil. This is the tool I use to go up underneath the wiring, hook onto the filter, and get it started. From there, after that, I can go by hand once it's loose. And like I said, it's going to be lefty-loosey. You can see it spinning off. You need both hands, though, in this small area to get that bad boy out. All right, so this one had already been swapped out with a 3018. Make sure this top gasket comes out with the filter. You're going to get a new one with your new filter, so make sure the old one came out. You don't want to try and seal the new filter on there with the old one. Now I'm going to take a pair of pipe pliers and remove this water separator sensor. And that's where you're going to drain your water too, guys. If you get a water and fuel warning, don't be alarmed though that you know, if for some reason this is blue instead of white. All right, so got the sensor out. It's going to come with this new black O-ring on here. Again, this is a vinyl piece or plastic, if you will. So once we put it back into the new filter, don't over tighten. I've already swapped the O-ring. That's the old one there. So we're going to go ahead and put this in there and get it tight. And again, I use these, I call them water pump pliers, but you think some people call them channel locks. I don't know. I'm going to stick with water pump because that's what I like. We use layman's terms here, so no worries. All right, new filter doesn't come with this O-ring installed, so go ahead and snap it down. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It fits either way, either side. So now we're going to reverse the steps. We're going to weasel this bad boy back up in there and get it tight. You can see right there. Let's flip it over. You can see where it says get it tight and a quarter turn past, just like your oil filter. And then the bottom one, for the sensor, it says go a half turn more after you get it tight. All right, so we got the new filter up in there. Don't forget to take your fuel separator sensor, or not your fuel water sensor. Plug this back in. Make sure it's not cut up on anything here. All right, now you're just gonna have to reassemble this lower piece here, guys. 7mm, the push pins and stuff like that. The most crucial part is you can't forget to prime it. So you can see that silver little bulb right there. You see a little black, looks like a 12mm / flat blade. That's your bleeder. You're just gonna open that a little bit, and then you're going to use that plunger. So let's open up the bleeder real quick. Now, to make it easier for you guys to see, I took this intake tube off. This is roughly a 1/2 inch. Again, it's vinyl. Don't overdo it. Don't take it all the way out. From here is your plunger. Again, it's kind of a pain in the arse to do it, but again, you're only doing this. I would probably change this. There is a fuel filter minder inside the truck. Me personally, I would change this filter every 10,000 miles. Just with the, you don't know what kind of diesel you're getting, quality diesel you're doing. So once we got that done, you're gonna start priming it. And you can hear air kind of sucking through this vent tube. So you're gonna do it until fuel comes out of this, until it starts seeping out. Doesn't need to be blowing out there, doesn't need to be going crazy, but it can take quite a few pumps. Once you get fuel coming out there, I'd wipe it up off the top here. So it came out, it took me about 22 pumps to get it. If for some reason it doesn't retain prime, more than likely the filter itself is not tight. But we're gonna go ahead and put this all back together, and then once the intake's back on, if you choose to take it off, go ahead and fire it up while the fender well piece is still out. We wanna check for leaks and make sure nothing's crazy in there. And then from there, the DIC on this truck is pretty simple. All you're gonna do is scroll, go to the settings, scroll to where it says diesel fuel filter life, push the check mark and hold it till it resets it. Same thing with the oil change. Other than that, just make sure everything's high and tight, nothing over tight. And again, when you shut this little bleeder valve, it's plastic. Do not over tighten it. You will be very sad. So as always, guys, that's basically it. You button everything up in reverse order you took it off. Should be good for at least the normal maintenance interval, if that's what you want to do, is run it out that far. Again, I do it about every 10. Links down below for all the stuff you need to do it. Catch you on the next one.